Failure is not the main reason people do not achieve their dreams. This may surprise you, for we have been taught to study failure, to learn from it, to fail forward. And while there is merit in that, it overlooks a much larger, more devastating truth. The truth is that most great dreams do not die in a blaze of glory, in a noble attempt that falls short. They die silently. They wither away in a quiet room, late at night, assassinated by a habit so common and so subtle that most of us do not even recognize it as the mortal enemy of all achievement. We see failure as a great beast to be conquered, yet this other enemy is a slow poison, a thief in the night that steals your ambition, drains your enthusiasm, and leaves your greatest ideas to gather dust in the attic of your mind. This silent killer, my friends, is the habit of indecision. It is the father of its equally destructive twin, procrastination. How many brilliant ideas have you had that you were going to start tomorrow? How many opportunities have passed you by while you were waiting for the perfect moment or gathering more information? Indecision masquerades as prudence, as careful planning, but in reality, it is fear in disguise. The fear of making a mistake, the fear of criticism, the fear of responsibility. And while you wait, hesitating at the crossroads of decision, the opportunity vanishes, your enthusiasm cools, and another dream fades into nothingness. And this, right here, is one of the most crucial aspects of what we explore at the X of Mentality, identifying the invisible forces that truly shape our destiny. The first step to defeating any enemy is to acknowledge its existence and its power in your own life. If you are ready to stop being a victim of this silent habit, you must make a firm declaration. You must take a first decisive action. Subscribe to this channel now, not as a passive click, but as your conscious first decision, a commitment to a new life of swift and definite action. But why is this habit so powerful? Why does it hold such a hypnotic sway over so many capable individuals? To defeat this enemy, we must first understand its origins and its methods. We must venture into the mind and uncover the psychological roots of indecision. And that is where our investigation will lead us next. We have identified the silent killer of dreams, the habit of indecision. But to conquer any foe, one must first understand them intimately. Why does this habit hold such a powerful hypnotic sway over so many intelligent and capable individuals? The answer can be distilled into one single powerful word: fear. Indecision is not a primary affliction. It is a symptom, a byproduct, the direct offspring of a mind that has surrendered its sovereignty to fear. Let us dissect this beast. The first and most common of these fears is the fear of criticism. So many of us are paralyzed into inaction by the dread of what others might think or say. What if they laugh at my idea? What if my family disapproves? What if I try and fail publicly? This constant worry about the opinions of others builds a cage around our ambition, and indecision becomes the comfortable, familiar state of remaining safely within that cage. The second root of this habit is the fear of making a mistake. This is tied directly to the fear of poverty or the fear of failure. We desire certainty. We crave a guarantee that our decision will be the correct one. And so we wait. We overanalyze. We gather endless information. We wait for the perfect conditions that will never arrive. This waiting, this procrastination, is not laziness. It is an active process of avoiding the emotional discomfort of taking a risk and accepting responsibility for the outcome. And finally, there is the deep-seated fear of the unknown. Every decision of consequence requires a step into territory that is, by its very nature, uncertain. The mind often prefers the misery of a familiar circumstance to the unpredictable possibilities of a new one. These fears thrive in a mind that lacks two essential pillars: a definite major purpose and self-reliance. Without a clear, burning purpose to act as your compass, any path seems fraught with danger. And without faith in your own judgment, you will forever seek the approval of others, which is the very definition of indecision. So, we are faced with this internal enemy, fed by fear and nourished by doubt. How do we begin to starve it? How do we build the self-reliance necessary to make swift, definite decisions? The first tool is not complex. It is a simple yet profound shift in your daily mental habits, a way to build an army of positive thoughts to fight on your behalf. We have diagnosed the enemy. We understand that it is born of fear and thrives in the absence of purpose and self-reliance. How then do we begin to starve this beast of indecision? How do we build an army of positive thoughts to fight on our behalf? The answer begins with forging the first and most essential weapon in your new arsenal: the power of a definite decision. Before you can effectively use advanced principles like autosuggestion to reshape your mind, you must first relearn the simple yet profound art of making a decision and standing by it. Most people confuse wishing with deciding. They wish they could start a business. They hope they can get in shape. These are not decisions. A true decision, in its very essence, means to cut off all other possibilities. It is an act of finality, a command given to your subconscious mind that the debate is over and the time for action has arrived. The habit of indecision is a muscle that has been strengthened through years of repetition. To defeat it, we must begin to strengthen the opposing muscle of decisiveness. We will start small, with a simple yet powerful exercise. Right now, I want you to think of one small area of your life where you have been procrastinating. It does not have to be a monumental life choice. It could be cleaning your desk, making a difficult phone call you have been dreading, or committing to a 15-minute walk. Your task is this: make a definite, unequivocal decision that you will complete this one task. Set a deadline for it within the next 24 hours. Write it down. Tell someone if you must, but make the decision absolute. The purpose of this exercise is not merely to get the task done. It is to train the muscle of decision-making. It is to send a clear, powerful message to your subconscious mind that when you issue a command, it is to be obeyed. This is how you begin to build the foundation of self-reliance. This small act of making and executing one definite decision is a powerful declaration of your new self. It is the first tangible victory against the silent enemy. If you are ready to take this first step, to prove your power to yourself, then make another decision now. Commit to this journey of self-mastery. Subscribe to this channel as a symbol of your decision to live a life of action. Once you have experienced the power that comes from making even one small, definite decision, you will be hungry for more. You will want to know how to make this newfound strength a permanent part of your character. To do that, we must employ the most powerful tool for influencing the subconscious mind, a tool that can transform the very bedrock of your beliefs. The power you felt in making one definite decision is but a glimpse of the power you can wield permanently. To transform this single act of courage into an unbreakable habit of decisiveness, we must now employ the master tool for influencing the subconscious mind, the very bedrock of your beliefs and habits. This tool is called autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the principle through which you, and you alone, can voluntarily feed your subconscious mind with the thoughts and ideas of your choosing. For years, perhaps a lifetime, you have been practicing a form of negative autosuggestion without even realizing it. Every time you hesitated, every time you allowed a thought of fear or doubt to linger, you were sending a clear instruction to your subconscious mind. I am a person who doubts. I am a person who waits. I am a person who is indecisive. And your subconscious, in its infinite obedience, accepted that command and made it your reality. Now, we will reverse this process. We will consciously and deliberately feed it a new, more powerful set of instructions. To do this, you will create a concise, personal statement of power, an affirmation designed specifically to counteract indecision. This statement must be written in the present tense, as if it is already a fact, and it must be charged with positive emotion. For example, your statement might be, I am a person of swift, definite decision. I trust my own judgment and act promptly on my decisions with faith and persistence. I am the master of my habits and the captain of my soul. This is your new blueprint. Your ritual is simple. Every morning upon waking and every night before sleeping, you will go to a quiet place, close your eyes, and repeat this statement aloud. And as you repeat the words, you must summon the feeling of what it would be like to be this person. Feel the confidence, feel the decisiveness, feel the freedom. Emotion is the chemical that fixes the thought permanently in the subconscious mind. Without feeling, the words are powerless. With feeling, they are irresistible. By this simple yet profound practice, you begin a silent revolution within your own mind. You are actively replacing the old blueprint of fear with a new blueprint of power. But what does this new foundation feel like? How does this reprogramming begin to manifest, not just in your actions, but in your very identity? This internal shift is the next stage of your transformation. The silent revolution that you begin with autosuggestion is, at its core, the act of building a new self-image. For you cannot permanently change your actions without first changing the mental blueprint from which those actions spring. Your subconscious mind holds a master portrait of who it believes you are, and it will work tirelessly, day and night, to ensure that your reality never strays far from the edges of that portrait. As you persist in the daily ritual of feeding your mind with new, powerful, decisive thoughts, something remarkable begins to happen. The old portrait, the one painted with the dull colors of fear and indecision, begins to fade. And a new one, vibrant with the colors of confidence and purpose, starts to take its place. This change is subtle at first. It is not an earthquake, but a quiet shift in the very ground of your being. You may not notice it in grand external victories initially, but in small, internal ways. You will begin to wake up in the morning, not with a sense of dread, but with a flicker of purpose. You will find yourself walking a little taller. The tone of your voice will carry a new resonance of self-assurance. When faced with a small decision, the period of hesitation becomes shorter. The voice of doubt, while perhaps still present, will no longer be the loudest voice in the room. It is being overthrown by the quiet, firm authority of your new self-concept. This is the most critical phase of your transformation. You are proving to yourself on a deep subconscious level that you are no longer the person who waits, who hesitates, who fears. You are becoming a person of action, a person of definite decision. You are becoming the person you described in your written statement. This process of building a new self-image is the true work of what we explore here at the X of Mentality. It is the most intimate and powerful creative act you will ever undertake. If you are serious about this inner construction, then make a public record of your private decision. Go to the comments now and declare, I am building a new me. This is not just a comment, it is an affirmation to the universe and a command to your own subconscious mind. But a new self-image, a new internal blueprint cannot be contained. It must, by the very law of its nature, seek expression in the outer world. The time was fast approaching for this newly forged identity to face a new, greater test and to produce a new, greater victory. A new self-image, once firmly established in the subconscious mind, cannot be contained. It is a powerful force that must, by the very law of its nature, seek expression in the outer world. The time had come for the new man that was being built within to face a new, greater test and to claim a new, greater victory. The opportunity came not as a simple project, but as a high-stakes creative pitch for a major, long-term partnership with a prestigious brand. In the past, the mere thought of competing against established agencies would have sent Lucas into a spiral of self-doubt. But as he prepared for the presentation, he noticed a profound change. The old, frantic nervousness was still there, a faint echo from the past, but it was now overshadowed by a deep, quiet current of calm assurance. He was not going there to seek their approval. He was going there to determine if they were worthy of his vision. He entered the boardroom not as a freelancer hoping for a job, but as a high-value expert offering a solution. He presented his vision with a quiet authority that commanded the room's attention. He answered difficult questions not with defensiveness, but with poised confidence. He was no longer acting, he was simply being the man he had described in his written statement day after day. He was embodying his new self-image. And here is a fundamental law of human interaction. The world will, by and large, accept your own appraisal of yourself. Because Lucas now saw himself as a confident, creative authority, the executives in the room instinctively responded to him as one. They were not just buying his designs, they were buying his conviction, his certainty, his vision. The victory was won long before he entered that room. It was won in the quiet, early morning hours, in the disciplined ritual of reprogramming his own mind. He secured the partnership. It was a victory that would transform his career and his financial reality forever. But more importantly, it was the ultimate proof that the outer world is but a mirror, reflecting back the image we hold of ourselves within. He had defeated the silent enemy of indecision, not by fighting the world, but by first winning the war within his own mind. This landmark victory brought him success and security he had never known. But with this new level of success came new, more complex challenges. Challenges so great he would soon discover they could not be conquered by one mind alone. Instructive and expansive. The great victory and the partnership that followed were a landmark, a testament to the power of a single, reprogrammed mind. The protagonist, once trapped by indecision, was now a model of confident action. His business began to grow, his reputation solidified, and his income surpassed anything he had previously imagined. But here is another profound truth of life. Every new level of success brings with it a new class of challenges. The very success he had created now presented him with problems of a nature he had never faced. Problems of scale, of financial planning, of operational complexity, of long-term market strategy. He was a master of his craft, but an amateur in the intricate art of building a sustainable enterprise. He found himself working longer and harder, feeling overwhelmed by the very success he had sought. He had conquered the mountain of self-doubt only to find himself at the foot of a new, much higher mountain of complexity. He realized that his individual intelligence and unwavering persistence, the very tools that had brought him this far, were no longer enough. To attempt to solve these new problems alone would be an act of ego, not of wisdom. It was in this moment of new humility that he returned once more to the source, to the deep study of the principles of achievement. And it was there that he found the master key to this new door, the principle of the mastermind. He read that no individual achieves enduring, great-scale success without the friendly and harmonious cooperation of other minds. He learned that a mastermind alliance is not merely a team. It is a conscious blending of minds united in a spirit of harmony for a definite purpose. And from this blending, an intangible third mind is born, a force that can access the knowledge and experience of all its members, and even tap into the infinite intelligence itself. He understood with startling clarity that to reach the next level, he had to stop trying to be a master of everything. He had to become a master of alliances. His next great task was not to find all the answers himself, but to find the right minds that already held those answers. The search for his mastermind had officially begun. With the clear understanding that his individual efforts had reached their limit, our protagonist began his search for a mastermind. This search was not a desperate plea for help, but a deliberate, strategic mission. He knew that the selection of this alliance would be one of the most important decisions of his entire career. The first principle of forming a successful mastermind is this: you must seek more than just skill or intelligence. You must seek harmony. The power of the alliance does not come from the blending of minds alone, but from the blending of minds in a spirit of complete and perfect harmony. One discordant mind in a group can neutralize the power of all the others combined. And so, he did not rush. He carefully created a list of individuals he respected, not only for their expertise in the areas he lacked, such as finance and marketing, but more importantly for their character, their integrity, and their positive mental attitude. He was searching for builders, not critics. With his list prepared, he approached the first potential member. He did so with the newfound confidence he had cultivated. He did not come asking for a favor. He came presenting an opportunity. He clearly articulated his own definite major purpose and explained his vision for a powerful alliance where each member would contribute their unique talents and, in return, share in the greatly amplified power and success of the group. He was offering to share his strength, not just seeking to remedy his weaknesses. This is the correct approach. A mastermind built upon the desire of one person to simply take from others is built on sand. But one built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, trust, and a shared, inspiring purpose is built upon solid rock. He found his first ally, then a second. A small but powerful group was forged, united by a single, definite purpose. The decision to align with others in a spirit of harmony is a profound step in your evolution. It is a core principle of the X of mentality. If you are ready to move from solitary effort to synergistic power, make a declaration. Go to the comments and write, "I will build my alliance." Let this be your first step toward multiplying your power. With his small but powerful alliance now forged, the protagonist was no longer just a confident individual. He was the nucleus of a new power. The solutions to the complex problems that once overwhelmed him began to surface with astonishing speed. The third mind was now at work, and its results were about to become manifest. With his small but powerful alliance forged, the protagonist was no longer just a confident individual. He was the nucleus of a new and extraordinary power. The complex problems of growth that had once overwhelmed him began to resolve themselves with an almost magical speed. The third mind of the mastermind was now fully at work, and its results were undeniable. The logistical challenges that had seemed like an impassable mountain were systematically dismantled by the group's financial expert, who laid out a clear path to profitability and stability in a single afternoon. The marketing problems that had baffled our protagonist were transformed into a brilliant and effective campaign by the strategist in the group, doubling their qualified client inquiries within a month. And when a critical creative challenge arose on their main project, a problem that had left our protagonist feeling blocked and frustrated for weeks, he brought it to his alliance. In a single one-hour meeting, through the free and harmonious exchange of ideas, a solution emerged. It was an idea so elegant and so perfect that it seemed to come from a source beyond any of their individual minds. It was the product of their unified consciousness. This is the tangible power of a true mastermind. It is more than teamwork. It is synergy in its highest form. It is the practical application of a spiritual law that states that when two or more minds are coordinated in a spirit of harmony, they gain direct access to the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. They can draw upon knowledge, wisdom, and creative power that is unavailable to the lone individual. Our protagonist was now a true leader. He had learned not only to master his own mind, but to harmonize his efforts with the minds of others, creating a force far greater than the sum of its parts. He had conquered indecision, built a new self, and learned to multiply his power through alliance. He had, by all worldly measures, achieved success. But as he stood at this new peak, he came to understand the final, most profound lesson of all, that the true purpose of climbing the mountain is not just to reach the top, but to be able to lift others up. And so, our protagonist stood at a peak of success he once believed was impossible. He had mastered his inner world, conquered the silent habit of indecision, and multiplied his power through a harmonious alliance. But as he looked out from this new vantage point, he came to understand the most profound lesson of all, that the true purpose of climbing the mountain is not just to enjoy the view, but to gain the perspective and the strength to help lift others up as well. We see him one last time. He is not in a boardroom closing a deal. He is in a small workshop mentoring a group of young, aspiring entrepreneurs. We see in their faces the same flicker of fear and indecision that once defined his own life. And we see him with calm confidence and deep empathy sharing his story. He is teaching them not just business strategy, but the principles of the mind. He is giving them the very weapons he used to win his own freedom. In this act of service, his journey comes full circle. The student has become the master, and the master has become the teacher. This is the ultimate expression of the law of success. That which you give away, you get to keep forever. The knowledge and power he accumulated only reached their highest purpose when he began to create a ripple effect, passing that power on to others. His story is a map that is available to you right now. The silent enemy of indecision may be at war with your own ambitions at this very moment. But you now possess the knowledge to identify it, the tools to fight it, and the principles to build a new reality. The story you have just witnessed is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint for your own potential transformation. This is the very heart of the X of mentality, to provide you with the keys not only to unlock your own success, but to empower you to create a legacy of positive impact. The time for hesitation is over. The time for decisive, purpose-driven living is now. Therefore, I invite you one final time. Make the ultimate commitment to your own great mission. Subscribe to this channel, and in doing so, declare to the world and to yourself that you will no longer be a victim of indecision, but a master of your destiny and a force for good in the world. The principles have been shared. The path has been illuminated. The choice, as always, is yours. Activate the X within you.